Good evening, and welcome to the 716 Playbook, where every play counts. Thank you all for tuning in. Those of you that are new to the show, I appreciate you coming on and watching. Hopefully you stick around. Hopefully I don't scare you away, or maybe I don't get as passionate in one of my rants tonight. Luckily, with the Bills being on the offseason, there's not going to be as much passion. But, you can still get a little passionate about the offseason news. Pretty busy week leading up to the Super Bowl, so we have a lot to talk about. I appreciate support that you guys have been doing. I support just the channels overall on all my social media platforms. It's been growing, so that's really exciting, and I'm getting a lot to meet new people, and people are actually like DMing me. It's really exciting, to see some growth happen within this channel. Again, this is just as much for you guys as it is for me. If you guys want me to say something on the show, if you guys want me to answer a question, if you don't like what I said, if you want to debate me, whatever it is, comment down below wherever you're watching. And if you don't comment on the current episode, or let's say, you're watching it after I'm already done on the live, that's fine. You can always DM me and say, yo, this is what I thought, or, you didn't see my comment. Let's say I missed your comment. I would love to hear what you have to say. Again, this show is just much for you guys. Make sure you're also following everything down below. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, make sure you follow me on X. If you're on X, make sure you follow me on TikTok. If you're on TikTok, that TikTok account is pretty much vacant right now. There's very minimal that I can do because I set it up at a very awkward time when TikTok was really not. It was kind of going down and under. So I don't have the app or anything. I'm kind of running off the browser, and there's not much to do. I'm on like an old logo. It's a really bad account. So hopefully once TikTok gets back up and running, whenever that is, I can go back on there. I can re-update everything and start, plugging in some of the videos as well. I'm hoping to, looking into in the next couple of weeks, also going live on Instagram and going live on TikTok once TikTok goes back up. There is a way for me to do it. It is a little bit more challenging, but it's not impossible. But yeah, so the channel is growing. Things are happening. It's exciting. And I'm trying to be more active, especially on X. I'm posting a lot more. I'm commenting. I'm following a bunch of new people. I really do want this channel to grow. And also, that also begins with you guys as well. If you know somebody that might be interested in watching the show, please let them know. Share my link tree. Share any links. If you know somebody who only has YouTube, then just share the YouTube. If you have all these accounts, just share the link tree. If you don't want to send 30 different links. But I do really appreciate it, and it goes a long way. All right, look, there's not much to talk about with the Bison, but we still have to cover something for the Buffalo Bison. The season starts in 52 days. Luckily, our first game is going to also be opening day. It's going to be in Buffalo. It's going to be on March 28th. We're going to be playing the Rochester Red Wings. Should be a good game. They ended third last year in the league, so we'll see what happens with that game. But again, there's not a lot of off-season news happening. And there really isn't a lot of like pickups or drop-offs from the Toronto Blue Jays, who is our major league team that we're affiliated with. There's really not much going on. So again, I will try to keep you guys updated as I go about. If there's any off-season news for the Bison, I'll talk about it. And once the season starts, then I can kind of go into the games and what's going on and follow along so that, if you guys aren't watching the Bison game, you guys, obviously most people can't get it on TV. I can do my research and let you guys know what's going on. Especially there's a big game, covering everything Buffalo sports, not just the Bills. As much as the background might be deceiving, yes, this channel does cover more than the Bills. All right. With that being said, we're going to talk about the Buffalo Bandits. On fire, the Buffalo Bandits are. This team is really exciting. I'm loving the energy from these guys. So Saturday night we played the Albany Firewolves. We won 16-10. The game was played in Buffalo, and the attendance was 18,459 people. I'm going to say that one more time. 18,459 people were packed into KeyBank. KeyBank only holds 19,000 people, so they were just 500 people short. I looked online and tried to see what was the max attendance for the NLL, covering the entire league, not just the Bandits. And for my surprise, I couldn't find anything that had a bigger attendance. So I think it's safe to pretty much announce that this past game in Buffalo was one of, if not the most attended game in NLL history. So again, these boys are on fire. They are now 6-0. They are the only undefeated team left in the NLL. So of course, they're going to draw in a lot of attention. Buffalo is going to come out. They're going to support, and they're going to watch these games. It's just been these guys are great. 6-0. The next best team is Saskatchewan, and they are standing at number 2 with 6-2 for their record. The worst team happens to be the Albany Firewolves. They are now standing 2-7. So they're the 14th team, the last team in the league, and they are sitting at a 2-7 record. I feel bad for them, but at the same time, Buffalo is doing their thing, and we are just showing the entire league who is about to go for a three-peat. No, you did not misunderstand that at all. This three-peat, not the NFL three-peat that is going to happen next week, but this three-peat for the Buffalo Bandits. They're doing so well, and they are going into their third season off of a championship. So hopefully we can be three-peaters, but we'll see what happens for the rest of the season. Breaking down the game a little bit, we had a pair of 10-point nights for both Donnie Smith and Josh Byrne. They were doing great things. Donnie Smith had 3 goals and 7 assists, while Josh Byrne had 5 goals and 5 assists. And then another really cool thing to get to share you guys, Matt Vince, the goalie who I just keep talking about. I can't talk enough about him. He has now docked in 16,000 career minutes, which is the most of any goaltender in the entire NLL in history. So he just achieved a massive milestone. He is older. I think he's like 43. So obviously he's had a lot of time to play, a lot of time to kind of rack up that 16,000 career minutes. But still, he had a great night as well. He saved 38 of 48 shots. So he only allowed 10 points. We are currently averaging across 6 games. We're only allowing 9.5 goals, which is great. That's great. I will not complain at all. The first 3 games, we allowed 7, 7, and 6. This last 3 games, we have allowed a little bit more points. But again, I am not going to complain. If you are only allowing 9.5 overall, I'm okay with that. That's a great stat. And while our goaltender did stay out there for the first and second quarter, Albany had to switch their goaltender out because we were just shooting the ball so well. We just drove their goalie right out of the game. So after the first quarter, they had to pull their goaltender, which that's great. That shows how offensive we are. We had a 6-3 lead after the first. Albany did try to make a comeback twice throughout the game. At one point, they made it 11-8. But then, they had 15 minutes of no goals, and then we scored twice in 18 seconds. Again, I can't say enough good things about these boys. They are, they're putting their heart out there, and it's showing. It really is. They also have just amazing chemistry overall. So I don't want that to be like underspoken. Their chemistry is just as good as their skill is, and that is what's driving them to be this force in the league. Albany can't get traction. The game ended 16-10. Albany has yet to really get traction in any of their games. Even their 2 wins, looking into those games, they're just not. They can't compete. They can't. I don't know. Obviously, I don't really think there's many like minor league lacrosse leagues for them to like kind of drop back down into. And yeah, maybe it's just a rough season for them. But Albany is having a heck of a time to find any kind of momentum to even try to put them back into some sort of competitive spot with the league. They would have to go on like a 6-0 run, like Buffalo, to just kind of get them back at like an 8-7. Just a 6-0 run would just put them above the 500. So, our defense was great, prevented them from shooting more. When our defense does so well, our defense is great. It puts a lot less pressure on Matt. Because obviously if our defense is doing so well, they can't even get to the goal. So they're not even having good attempts on the shot. which, puts a lot less pressure on our goalie, who again is older. So like that's what we need. We need a heavily defensive team because, I'm sorry, I love Matt. I think he's doing great things. Our defense has to be a big reason of why he's doing so well. Yes, he did save 38 of 48 shots yesterday. I'm not taking anything from that. Not yesterday, on Saturday. Not going to take anything from that game. Matt's doing great, but our defense deserves that credit too. Our offense between Smith and Byrne too, they're just dominating. They're within like the top 10 overall in the league. Both of them, they stand within the top 10. So again, that's who you want playing on your team. Luckily Buffalo has them. Look, the next game for the Bandits is going to be February 14th. So we kind of have like roughly like 10 days, which means that next Tuesday, there's not going to be much to talk about with the Bandits because, again, they won't have played another game before next Tuesday when we have the next episode. So, but they play against Toronto in Toronto. Last time they played the Bandits, it was in Buffalo. It was on the 10th, and we won 13-15. That game was a little bit closer. Toronto is 11th in the league. They did just beat Saskatchewan, but again, they have potential to beat us. I would say they're trying to get some sort of traction to kind of be competitive in the league. I don't know what it's going to look like for them. Their losses have been very close. I'm keeping a very tight eye on Toronto because if there's one team in the NLL who doesn't deserve the record that they had, I would put it on Toronto. Even against us, they showed up on the 10th and they made the game 13-15. So again, I am not gonna discredit Toronto. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, we can just walk in and win. That's not true at all. They have had a chance to really come back at us. So again, don't think the boys can't make the win. I think the Bandits will win. That is my prediction, but they can't walk in thinking it's gonna be an easy win. I don't think that's the case. Now let's talk about an easy win. When we talk about easy wins with Buffalo, one team that might catch some of these viewers by surprise is the University of Buffalo's women's basketball team. Going into this show, I did not think I would be talking about college basketball. Not even just college basketball, women's college basketball. These girls are doing amazing. If you live in Buffalo, and you're not hearing about the women's basketball team, I don't know why. I really don't. Because the men's basketball team shouldn't even be talked about on college campus or even in Buffalo. They're doing not great. We'll talk about that. But women's basketball, they are doing amazing. They're on a 6-game win streak. They're currently 19-2 overall. We are 8-2 in the conference, and we still stand at second in the conference. I'm good. They are doing everything they're supposed to do. They are shutting teams down, and they are outscoring. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm asking of them to do. That's what everybody's asking of any of their basketball teams to do. And this women's basketball team, they have been doing very, very well. We beat Western Michigan and Northern Illinois University. Ball State is still in first place in our conference. They are 10-0 in our conference. It's going to be a little tough to kind of like reel that in. We're going to have to play Ball State, and we're going to have to be the ones to beat them. When we play Ball State, we have to beat them if there's any chance at our team kind of going first in the league. It's challenging. For our conference, because they have that 2-game above us, but they have a 2-game above us in the conference, but they're 18-4 overall. So we actually have won 2 more games than they have overall, but because they're 10-0 in our conference, there's that's really the record that for the leaderboard for the standings in our conference, that's what they're looking at. So again, when we play Ball State in the next couple of weeks, we have to come out, we have to win in order to not only stick it to Ball State, but also kind of restamp a possibility of going first place. We beat Western Michigan 73-40. We outscored them in the first 3 quarters, and then our last quarter, we didn't even try. We were up big. We kind of just crushed them. Watson, our one guard, she led the team with 22 points, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. They shot 55% for field goals, and they shot for 27%. Great defense. I'm telling you, great defense for this game. That's what we're asking of them, and they performed. So we also beat Northern Illinois. We beat them 84-58. So both games, pretty substantial wins. Again, that's everything that you're asking of them to do. They're doing it. Again, Watson, our one guard, she led the team with 24 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. Then our other guard, Kirsten, she had 19 points, but so she didn't have as many points as Watson. She was 9 for 10. So 9 for 10 for the field goal range. She was 90% overall for that game. If they would have put her in more, I think she probably would be the star of that game. But nevertheless, they're doing great things. Next game is tomorrow, Wednesday, February 5th at 11 a.m. Again, such weird times. Last week they played against Western Michigan at 11 a.m. I don't get it's in the middle of a school day, and I know they have classes, so I'm not too sure why they're scheduling them. It is going to be in Buffalo. It is home. It's going to be against Toledo. They are in our conference. They're 7-3. They're right below us. They are doing very well. They're doing very well, but they're not shutting teams out. So I think it'll be an easy win for the girls. But again, they are right below us. So we cannot afford to lose if we want first place at this point. We have to continue to push through with this win streak. All right, on to the men's basketball team. Terrible. We did beat Central Michigan, and then we lost against Ball State. Again, this team is not doing well. March Madness isn't even a thing for us. We're not going to make it. Last time that the boys men's basketball team made it was 2019. We were the number 6 seed, and we only made it to the second round. So we're 10th in the conference. We're 2-7 for our conference record, and then we're 7-14 overall. We're just not doing well. We're not performing. We're not showing up, and it's showing. It really is. It's really, really showing. So when we beat Central Michigan, it was only by 6 points. We won 75-69. We did come back. We were down 34-30 at half. We did come back. We scored 10 more points than them in the second half. We won the game. Great. I'm really glad. Ryan Sable, he had a 24-point game. That game, great. Thank you, Ryan, for doing that. But the next game against Ball State, we lose by 13 points. So we lost 89-76. Ball State was up 45-32 at half. And then they maintained it, and it was just an even second half, 44-44 in the second half. So, we couldn't outscore them at all in the second half. It looked like zero effort on defense. We allowed 44 points. We allowed 45 points in the first half, and then 44 points in the second. Boys, play defense. Like when I'm watching this game, I watched this Ball State game. I'm like, why are we not playing defense at all? There's little to no defense. There's little to no drive at this point because they know that they can't make March Madness. The whole premise of the season is over. Great, but play for some pride. Like at this point, it was just really bad. Ball State isn't even good. Ball State is 10-11 in the conference. Yet they felt very superior to us. Ball State's one player, Peyton Sparks, that went off. He went off. He had 27 points in the game. We could not stop him. Again, it's so aggravating because I'm watching this game in real time and I'm thinking to myself the entire time, it just doesn't feel like they even want to win. Long story short, they are currently playing right now. They are playing against Toledo again. So that's the team that we're actually going to play tomorrow, but the men's team is in Toledo. Toledo's women's team is in Buffalo playing tomorrow morning. Toledo is third in the conference for the guys. And I can actually check that score real quick and see what's going on with that because I'm kind of curious. We're down 12-4 to start the game. It started at 7 p.m. So we're 20 minutes in and we are down 12-4. So that kind of shows you again our drive. So I don't see this. I won't even give a prediction for this game. We'll check back at the end of the episode before I end just to kind of see what's going on. But again, just there's zero effort here for this men's basketball team. And when we talk about zero effort, I love how I'm trying to do these transitions. Talk about zero effort. We're gonna talk about the Buffalo Sabres. This little guy right here, kind of right there. a little dumpster fire that I have showing. That's my Sabres merch right now. The Buffalo Sabres, I'm telling you what, and it starts with upper management. And I'm going to keep saying that. It starts with upper management. It is so frustrating. Terry Bagula or Terry Bagula or however you want to pronounce his name. I keep saying it with a J, but it's really a G, and I know that. However you want to pronounce the owner's name, Terry. If you want the boys to win, if you want the boys to have pride, how about you put some faith in our upper management? And it starts with the GM, which really it starts with the owner. The GM is really reflective of the owner. That's how I feel. That is how I feel. Just it's really pitiful. Now, with that being said, you're gonna find this really funny. The Sabres won 3 games, all 3 games since last time we went. You're thinking to yourself, why did you just go off on a rampage about how they're not good if they just won the last 3 games? We'll talk about it. We did beat 3 teams in a row. That's great. I'm really glad. Put some fire underneath these boys' butts and make them move. Again, we'll talk about why I just went on a 60-second rant about why there's no drive or why these boys have no dignity. We'll talk about it. So anyway, we'll get into the games first, and then I'll talk about why I just went off. We beat the Bruins, we beat the Predators, and we beat the Devils. Great. We now have a 1.4% chance of making the playoffs. Hey, we were 0.4% last week. Now we're 1.4 this week. I will take it. I will take it. Good. Let that odd continue to climb. I love it. We are also no longer the team with the worst odds. The Flyers are below us right now with one of the worst odds. There's multiple teams. Flyers are one of them. I just shout out the Flyers because I live in the Philadelphia area. So anybody that's watching this that might be a family member or a friend of mine, hey, your Flyers have a worse chance than the Sabres do right now. Let that be reflective for the Philadelphia Flyers. That's my little taunt, little dig right there. Again, this is a typical sports fan. Team is doing terrible. Team does good for a little spurt, and then it instantly gets cocky. That's the definition of a sports fan right there. So anyway, this Bruins game, we led 7-2. We were up pretty well going into the third period. We were up by 2. If anybody knows that stigma, my friend who loves hockey has a stigma that the worst lead heading into the third period is a 2-point lead because you're just comfortable. Like 1 point, like you kind of feel like you still have to play, but 2 points, like you're just comfortable enough that like 3 points, you pretty much sealed the game. But 2 points, like you're still comfortable. You're like, hey, I got a 2-point lead. But how quickly that other team can come back, very quickly, and that's what happened with this game. So the Bruins were they were pursuing a top wild card spot. They were 1 point under. Now they're 1 point under. They were neck and neck with another team to get that top wild card spot. Not anymore. Now they're 1 point under because they lost to the Sabres. Thompson and Peterka were the first Sabres teammates to record hat tricks in the same game for the Sabres since 2008. I'll say that again. Tage Thompson and Peterka, first Sabres teammates to both record hat tricks in the same game since 2008. Good. That's amazing. I feel like I should have more words than good from that. That shows life to me. That shows like, hey, we're getting somewhere. Thompson has had 6 goals in the last 5 games. Perfect. Again, right where he needs to be. Peterka's hat trick. It was his first ever in his NHL career, and it was also a career high. The boys did really, really well. It only came down to the end, where it was kind of like they like kind of like go through spurts. The Sabres do. So like they're doing really well. They score twice, and all of a sudden like they kind of like slow down a little bit. But again, we did fairly well. This game we won 7-2. There's nothing to be upset about. Luukkonen, our goalie, had 25 saves, and the Bruins goalie had 26 saves. If you do the math, we had more shots on goal than they did. Since I started this channel, since I started, the 716 Playbook, this show, I have yet to be able to say that. The Sabres have yet to give me a game where they were not outscored, not outshot by their opponent. Yes, there were games where the Sabres won, but they still gave the other team way more opportunities to shoot the puck. But luckily, that was not the case. All right, so we beat the Bruins 7-2. They now have to kind of trail their way back. They are only 1 point under, but they still have to trail their way back for that top wild card spot. The Predators, we beat them 5-2. Perfect. So Kulik, he had his second career game with multiple goals, and his parents were also in attendance for this game. Really cool opportunity. So Kulik, if you don't know, he is from Czechia, and it was their first ever NHL game. They got to watch their son play, and he was able to get 2 goals. Not only did he get 2 goals, he also had a game winner with 2 minutes remaining. That's very special. It's a very special moment. It was also the game that we got to induct Rob Ray into the Sabres Hall of Fame. We retired his jersey. It was just an emotional night altogether. If you're a Buffalo Sabres fan, you loved the night against the Predators. We won 5-2. They never outscored us they never outscored us in any period. And we were just able to keep with them. So, very special moment for Kulik to share with his parents. Very special for Rob Ray to get to speak in front of fans and also get his jersey retired. Ryan McLeod and Jason Sucker also scored as well, so they both got shots in there. So I don't want to take away from them. So they both scored, but again, Kulik's stat was a lot more impressive. Their goalie was able to save 23 of 27 shots. But Luukkonen was able to save 28 of 31 shots. So again, this game, they got more shots than us. So that's where my frustration is. So this Bruins game, Bruins are 10 times better. Why? And we beat them 7-2. We have more shots than them. But then against the Predators, so we're still outscoring them 5-2, yet they get more shots than us. I'm very grateful that we have Luukkonen who can save shots, because it would be an utter disaster if he could not. He wouldn't be in the NHL if he couldn't save shots. But I'm just very grateful for Luukkonen. A lot of Buffalo fans feel very indifferent about him. Some people really like him, some people don't. A lot of people are right in the middle for him. I like him. I'm on the side of I like him because our defense isn't great, but he is. So the Bandits is the opposite. Well, the Bandits have a good goalie, and the Bandits also have really good defenders. But with the Sabres, our defense isn't great, but we really do heavily rely on Luukkonen, and he's doing great things. All right. Going to answer the questions now. We're going to get into the Devils game. It's just the other night, Sabres played the Devils. We won 4-3. Okay. Tage Thompson had a 3-point performance. He was doing everything correctly. Again, pretty much the reason why we won the game. And towards the end, not really at the end of the game, but kind of towards the second half of the game. So obviously there's 3 periods, I know, but towards the later half of the game, he had a very nasty hit. The Devils player, he tried to push it off, tried to say he didn't. It was a very bad hit. There was no reaction from our team. This is what got me heated. So I opened my, I didn't watch this game. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's very hard to find motivation to watch the Sabres team sometimes. I did not watch this game, though. I utterly had things going on during this game, so I could not watch this. But I want to explain my frustration when the next morning I wake up to just blow up Central all over my social media accounts, all over sports shows. It was talked about everywhere. ESPN, SportsCenter. They were all talking about the fact that the Buffalo Sabres have no dignity. There's no integrity left. We don't deserve it. They don't deserve any of our respect. And I couldn't disagree with them. So Tage Thompson is doing everything correctly. He is leading us not only in goals, but he's gotten 3 goals just in this particular game. Up until this point, he's the only person that has scored. He has a disgusting hit by a Devils player, and there was no reaction from our team. I'm talking, this was such a nasty hit that the bench should have cleared. And I mean, an all-out brawl should have started. I'm not one for violence, but in this particular circumstance, especially when it's hockey and you guys want to fight for no reason just because it's fun, especially when you can just when you play like NHL, like online, and you play video games NHL, you can just smash Y and fight. Like, fighting is a very big reality in hockey. The fact that nobody on our team decided that it would be a good idea to stick up for Tage, the only person performing that night, to me is pitiful. Not only did Thompson get hit hard, his helmet fell off, and he stuck around on the ice for a hot second. It was just really, really aggravating. Tage Thompson has had 14 points in the last 9 games. Today, Lindy, glad that he spoke about this. I really am. Obviously it took a media person to have to question him about it. But media pretty much said, "Hey, how's Thompson doing?" Yeah, well, Thompson is now day-to-day. So after the game, Lindy said Thompson was okay. He was doing well, passed all the health screenings. Now he's day-to-day. Well, yeah, he got smacked. Like, smacked. He got absolutely brutally hit. And you just watched your whole team sit there and do nothing about it. I have watched high school basketball games where benches clear for lesser hits than this. Again, this is where I get frustrated with this team. If you're not winning, at least play for pride. And when I mean play for pride, you don't even have to play and win for pride. You just need to show some sort of life, and you need to be able to show some sort of team chemistry. That was not team chemistry. That was the complete opposite of team chemistry. So now I'm going to get off my soapbox. I'm going to take a step back. We're going to dissect the rest of the game. We're going to move forward. I just want to say, though, even if this is years in advance, if this show ever gets enough viewers or blows up, I'm going to clip this 100 times to talk about it. Tage Thompson deserves better from the Buffalo organization, from his own teammates, and I'm very glad that fans and sports commentators were able to call it out. It was atrocious, and it pretty much put a nice stamp for me, at least, for the rest of the season. I'm very curious to see what Lindy has for us moving forward, because I really hope that there was a hard discussion about how you treat your teammates, because that was just, especially, it wasn't even like just any guy. It was the guy who just scored you 3 points in the last 2 periods and deserves more than just, nope, not going to do anything. I'm talking 30 seconds after this hit, Tage is still on the ground, and I'm watching guys in a group, Devils and Sabres, just talking. That should not be the case. And that's my official opinion. Again, not a violent person, but you need to defend your teammate. Anyway, moving back into the game. Going into the third, we led 4-1. The Devils scored twice in the second period. That was kind of unacceptable. Sorry, going into the second, we led 4-1. Devils scored twice in the second period. That was just unacceptable. We could not score for the life of us. Luukkonen had 20 saves. Luckily, we did get more shots than this game. Great. Good. And we came out with the win, and it kind of went to the end. Grateful that we won. Again, the whole Tage Thompson thing, I'm not going to go into it again. That needs to be addressed. Not only that, okay, after the game is done, they have the audacity, the Buffalo Sabres somebody from the Buffalo Sabres admin, whoever that is, decided to take pictures of the team working out and scheduled it and said, "Oh, post-game workout." Didn't have enough energy to stick up for your teammates. Didn't have enough energy to make goals, and you just blew a 4-1 lead, and you almost lost the game. But you have enough energy to do a post-game workout? Give me a break. This is what I'm talking about. It's upper management trickling down. Why would admin even think that was okay to post? I really hope that somebody got in trouble for that. That was just, to me, in the sports world, that's a stupid thing to post. A very stupid thing to post, especially after the hit with Thompson, the no reaction. Fans had an immediate reaction. Online was blowing up. There's no way that the Sabres admin didn't see that. And you think, hey, this is a good post. Let's just post a post-game workout. It was just very stupid. Social media in general, just for these teams, they need to do better with the ad. Some teams do really great. Some teams really know how to advertise their teams. Clearly, whoever was running this page that night did not know. Well, Sabres are playing right now, and we're going to check the score of that game as well. Sabres are playing the Columbus Blue Jackets. Sabres are currently up 1-0. So there's some life. Good. We're up 1-0 quickly to start the game. Game started 30 minutes ago, and we are still in the first period. We got 6 minutes left of the first period. Good. If we want to increase our playoff chances, I'm not even talking playoff chances now. Now I'm really talking for dignity. If the Sabres deserve any of our respect, it starts with sticking up for your teammates, and it starts with learning. The administration needs to learn how to post, but it also starts with winning games, showing some life. Even if they don't make the playoffs at this point, if they just continue to win, they continue to say, hey, didn't have a good start, but we're going to continue to try. We're not just going to tank the rest of the season. I'm okay with that. But at the end of the day, you can lose the rest of the games. Just stick up for your teammates. That's what I'm asking for you. All right. Well, going to take a quick breather. Just to kind of, before we move into the Bills segment, we're just going to kind of decompress all of that I just posted. I also think that I do so much just throwing you guys information and not enough just talking. And maybe you think the opposite. Maybe you're like, yeah, no, you need to do more information, less talking. But I feel like there's no just free range talking. I feel like a lot of it is me looking at stats, looking at notes, and telling you guys what's going on. But there is a big part of me that loves this channel. In the past, at this time, I would be doing a break. I'm not going to do that. This will be a couple minutes to kind of wind into the next segment for the Buffalo Bills. That will eat up the most amount of time out of any of the segments. Even with the offseason, there's so much to talk about. Part of me really loves social media right now because I get to see the wackiest fan theories, the wackiest ideas. If you're old school, if you're just watching ESPN or you're just watching older, you're watching kind of almost legacy sports media, you're only watching like TV sports commentating. You're getting professional opinions about teams. You're not getting a full jive of I'm the weirdest things that are coming out, of what the Bills could do. And obviously sports commentators, they don't have a biasism on a team. So there's certain guys and girls out there that are, Buffalo fans that they have so much time to look into Buffalo sports strictly that they find the weirdest things. They find loopholes in the cap spaces and how they can do this. And, I just sat there for 3 hours and ran numbers about how we could, if we cut this player, we could add this guy, trade for this guy, swap this guy. Sports commentators, they don't have the time to do that. They can do very broad stroke of that. They can't really go into depth. Luckily, that's also where I come into play, where I can kind of go deeper into Buffalo sports as well. That is my goal. It's the point of the show. And kind of talk about more from a fan's perspective and not a professional sports commentator's perspective. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of sick of the, this is no hate on them, but I'm kind of sick of the Pat McAfee, the Stephen A. Smith, the Nick Wright, because that's all I hear. That's the only opinions I get to hear. Now is a chance to hear people there's this guy who's a big Bills fan. His name's Dan Mitchell. He is at the Super Bowl week right now. He's a media guy, and he's getting to interview players and talk to other media guys. And, he's posted all year and all season about, the Buffalo Bills and, what's going on. And I love that. I love that so much more. I'd rather watch him, who has a couple thousand people following, than watching Stephen A. Smith, who gets paid millions of dollars and has, tens of millions of people watching him and his podcast and his shows. So yeah, anyway, that's my little soapbox for this episode. We will be moving to the Bills segment now. We're going to be talking about the Buffalo Bills. I got one big question for this episode, and it is, does Brandon Beane make a big splash this offseason? Brandon Beane, if you don't know, is the GM for the Buffalo Bills. He almost every season with the Buffalo Bills yet has made a big splash in the offseason. He said that he doesn't see himself making a big splash type of play this offseason. I doubt it. I doubt that he means that at all. If that's a distraction, cool. If that's just him being him, cool. If he's trying to, kind of kick some fans or some sports shows off like the scent, good. Let's hope that's what he's doing. I really hope that we don't go this entire offseason and we don't make much changes, because especially our defense needs some changes. So kind of going to break down some things real quick. So there's a lot of buzz going around, a lot of media buzz going around about some players. Biggest one right now is Myles Garrett. He requested a trade yesterday morning from the Cleveland Browns. Defensive edge. He is amazing. Probably the best in the league. He was like the last hope for the Browns. Poor Browns fans yesterday decided to boycott the team and protest, and they were doing all sorts of things yesterday to kind of combat this management from the Browns. I kind of feel bad for them. I really do. But if the Bills want to capitalize on it, let's do it. Myles Garrett's going to be asking for a lot of money. He deserves a lot of money. I don't even see the Bills trying to lowball him. Only way to do that is we got to release players at certain times. We have to, if you want to trade for him, you have to trade. I think trade's not until March is when the trade starts. So a lot of things aren't going to just happen in the next couple days. This offseason, I think, is going to be teaching a lot of at least Bills fans patience. Not only patience for the next season to start, because I think we're all very eager to just move into the next season and forget last season and continue to do what we've been doing. I also think there's a part of there's going to be a lot of off-season stuff going on. I just think it's going to be very trickled out. I feel like last year it was very give and go, and big things happened here, and here. Stephon Diggs getting released and getting traded, all these things happening. I don't think that's going to be this case. And if it does, it's going to happen later on. So again, for Bills fans, we need to be very patient. I'm going to continue to kind of break down some of these theories, some of these, what are the rumors, what's going on. But again, all of this, I want to be very clear, is strictly rumors, strictly media buzz. When there's something that's statistical or something that's truth, something that is 100% fact or has already happened, I will talk about it, and I will make sure that it's not a rumor or buzz. But Myles Garrett would be a great addition. Another big thing is the LA Rams have come forward, and they announced that they are going to try to trade Cooper Kupp immediately. Feel bad for Cooper Kupp. He has done a lot for that franchise. I think he kind of saw himself retiring there. There was a lot of buzz last season about Cooper Kupp coming to the team. I don't know. I have no idea. I really haven't even looked that much into Cooper Kupp. I know that he didn't perform well, and that's why they're getting rid of him. To me, that's okay, why would the Bills pick him up? It's the same thing with Amari Cooper. We could very much benefit, with a Brandon Ayuk, for example. Brandon Ayuk, there's a lot of buzz for him as well. He's a 49ers. He is a wide receiver. He's got $120 million contract. You guys are insane if you think the Buffalo Bills can afford that right now. We're paying this really old man, I don't know if you know his name, Von Miller, way too much money. He's taking up a lot of cap space. And even if we did drop Von Miller, which I think we should, there's a lot of restructuring that has to happen. And we should be giving Josh Allen way more money. He deserves more money. We'll get into that a little bit later. But again, there's this unhealthy obsession in the offseason to just jump to the big guy and think, oh, yep, Buffalo's going to land this guy. Every team thinks that. Can it work financially? And I think that's a big reason why the cap space is the way, that's the reason why we have the cap space. But again, Brandon Ayuk, there's a lot of buzz about the 49ers considering trading him. The Bills are the top landing spot for him. The Bills are the top landing spot for Myles Garrett. The Bills are the top landing spot for Max Crosby. So there's all these guys that are top landing spots for these guys are the Buffalo Bills. I'll believe it when I see it. So stop getting so hyped up on this information and all this buzz and rumors. Just wait until it happens. Brandon Ayuk would be the biggest factor for our offense. Brandon Ayuk would be great. He's a great wide receiver. He's an amazing route runner, and he can catch some deep passes. He would be great to replace Amari Cooper, but if we keep Amari Cooper, there's no reason to sign Brandon Ayuk. You might think I'm crazy. What we have going on right now is something special. If we keep Matt Collins, if we keep Ty Johnson, if we keep Khalil Shakir, there's no fitting in Brandon Ayuk. I'm sorry, there isn't. There's something about this chemistry of this team. I'm okay with what we have. We don't need to pick up Brandon Ayuk. Some teams don't benefit from picking up big guys. Brandon Ayuk could be doing great with Purdy. That doesn't mean he's going to do great with Allen. There's so much that goes into that. Stephon Diggs was amazing. I will never, ever say anything bad about Stephon Diggs' skills as a football player. Nobody ever should. Towards the end, it didn't measure. He no longer fit with the team. That could happen with any of these guys. So even if Myles Garrett is amazing on the Browns, that doesn't mean he's going to be amazing on the Bills. We would hope that he is, but we thought that with Von Miller. And I'm sorry, Von Miller post-injury is not the same. And that could very well happen to any of these guys. So again, stop freaking out at any little moment when you hear rumors or buzz. Just wait until it happens. We'll talk about it once it happens. But that's the buzz going on. In this offseason, we need to focus on Matt Collins. He led in touchdown passes this season. So he had the most touchdown passes for a wide receiver team. He had the most. We also need to focus on Ty Johnson. If he needs to get more money, so be it. We already have Ray Davis. We got James Cook. I like having that triple dual threat on our running team. Keep Ty Johnson. We need to focus on both those guys. In my opinion, if you want to release some money, here's where you start. You drop Rasul Douglas. His performance since we traded for him 2 years ago has just continuously spiraled down. I'm okay if you get rid of him. I think he served a purpose for where he was at. I think if you want to re-sign him, you better sign him on like a veteran minimum. You should not sign him for any good money. Honestly, at this point, he is, in my opinion, he hasn't overstayed his welcome. He is on the brink of overstaying his welcome. Another player, Damar Hamlin. We're going to have a very hard conversation about Damar Hamlin. In my professional opinion, and I have no professional opinion whatsoever because I'm not a professional, but in my fan opinion, Damar Hamlin does not deserve this $38 million for 3-year contract that I just saw. And I didn't just see it once, I saw it everywhere. If the Buffalo Bills decide to sign Damar Hamlin for $38 million, it will go down as a waste. Mark my words now. If you think I'm kidding, if you think I'm nuts, please be my guest, save this clip, and wait. Because I guarantee you, Damar Hamlin does not deserve $38 million. If we can keep him for a good price, like a 3-year, $15 million, I'm okay with that. I'll keep him. That doesn't mean he can rotate. He's a good rotation for our safeties. He should not be a starting safety either. Taylor Rapp out there, Cole Bishop, I think he's developing into a good player. I really do. Didn't play a lot this season. We'll see where he kind of lands. But again, Damar Hamlin has a great emotional aspect to the team. Comeback player of the year. He is just continuously, proving the odds. I was at the game where Damar Hamlin went down. In the moment, sitting in Cincinnati around a bunch of drunk football fans, thinking this game isn't going to start back up again. And I don't know if Damar Hamlin's alive. Even if Damar Hamlin is alive, all I thought was there's no way he's ever going to touch grass again. And he did it. I could not be prouder of him for overcoming that. Grateful for him. I'm grateful that he came back. I love that he's an emotional part of the team. His legacy will never leave Buffalo. That's a massive, massive circumstance to happen. We'll never forget him. He does not deserve $38 million. And if that is disrespectful, I am sorry for disrespecting that opinion of yours, but that's my opinion. There are 4 D linemen that are all replaceable. You ready for this? Phillips, Jefferson, Johnson, and Smoot. They're all replaceable. Phillips, I think we can get him for a minimum veteran contract because he flat out said, I refuse to play anywhere else. I'm not retiring, but I don't want to go anywhere else. Buffalo is where he didn't say I don't want to go anywhere else. He refuses to play anywhere else. AKA I'm coming back to Buffalo. I don't care if it's on a minimum contract. I don't care if it's on a reserve team. That's great. I love Phillips. He's been a part of the team for many years. He left and then came back. He deserves something. Keep him on for a very cheap price until he wants to retire. We could also keep Smoot if we wanted. Again, Smoot needs to stay very minimum cheap price. Austin Johnson and Jefferson don't really fit in anymore. They don't need to be on our team. Again, if it's like minimum contracts for any of these guys that I'm talking about, keep them. Keep them. But if you're going to have to fork out money to keep them, don't. And lastly, Von Miller. This isn't even just like a kind of maybe keep him. In my opinion, drop him. Where was he in that Kansas City game? We give him way too much money. He's too old. He's too injury prone. He tore his ACL. Then he came back and he was never the same. I say we drop him post June 1st. And if we don't trade him, if we don't drop him, trade him. Von Miller has to go. He is sucking too much money out of the Bills organization. He was great before his injury. Now, I think he either needs to be used as leverage to trade him, maybe for Myles Garrett, maybe for Max Crosby. Maybe for Brandon Ayuk, that wouldn't even fit. He wouldn't fit the 49ers defense. Trade him or post June 1st drop him. But in my opinion, you can't keep Von Miller because there's no way you're going to be able to sign anybody in the offseason if you keep Von Miller. Now we're going to get into Josh Allen. All right. You have to make cuts. You have to make restructuring contracts. You can't sign anybody new for a substantial amount of money because there's one person on the Buffalo Bills that deserves way more money than he gets. And that would be Josh Allen. If you guys didn't know, last offseason, Josh Allen did the most humble thing that no other NFL quarterback, I think, in this league would want to do. He did it proudly, happily, and quietly. He took a massive pay cut. Not only did he make the pay cut just for the team or because, he made it strictly because he wanted to bring other guys in. He believes and loves Buffalo. He believes in the organization. He loves this team. He loves this fan base. He deserves more money. Cut Vaughn if you have to in order to give Josh Allen more money. This is why Josh Allen deserves more money than what he is currently getting. Josh Allen is currently the 14th best paid NFL quarterback, yet he would be arguably probably the top two and the top one quarterback in the last season. But that'll be an argument for another day. This is why he deserves more money. Josh Allen is the first player in NFL history to get 40-plus touchdowns 5 seasons in a row. Not even Tom Brady did that. He has more passing yards in the first 7 seasons than any other NFL quarterback. He holds the highest passer rating in 2021 at 149, beating Joe Montana's 146.4. He has appeared in more playoff games than Eli Manning. Allen is rated 91.8 for the 2024-2025 season, which gives him a rating of 90-plus for 5 seasons in a row. Tom Brady could only do that for 4 seasons in a row. Allen has had 6 10-plus win seasons. Josh Allen has had 5 consecutive AFC East titles. I don't think I needed to explain any further why Josh Allen deserves way more money than what he's getting. And if I have to cut, or Buffalo Bills have to cut Von Miller in order to do that, happily do it. That's my opinion. A little bit more news, off-season news. Tommy Doyle, somebody who you guys might even know, he is an offensive tackle for the Bills, hasn't really played in a while. He is going to retire. He has tore his ACL twice now. He's only 26. It's terrible to see. He's only had a couple years in the league. He is retiring. After you tear your ACL twice, it's really hard to come back from that, especially as a offensive lineman. That's a hard position. That's a lot in your legs. So unfortunately, he announced his retirement. Micah Hyde has also announced his retirement. That's a really sad. That's a sad thing to have to announce as well. Micah Hyde is a big part of getting the Buffalo Bills out of the drought. After that long playoff drought for the Buffalo Bills, Micah Hyde led the team. He was a captain. Played for the Bills for 7 seasons straight, and was a huge reason of why we were able to make it back to the playoffs year after year after year. Led our defense, came back, took a really, really humbling role, kind of as like a veteran coach almost, but a player. He was a player, but he was more of a veteran coach, never touched the field, but came back to help our defense because he loves this city and he loves this team. So Michael Hyde, he deserves all the love. He's got all the love from me. And he has done everything in my opinion. He did everything he could. So now we're going to move into some NFL news. The NFL is now considering measuring first downs electronically next season. For you guys that don't know, the reason of why they're considering measuring first downs electronically is because the Bills-Chiefs game, there's a big controversy that Josh Allen did get a first down, but the line judge did not give it to them on a 4th down, which then turned the ball over. If I had a nickel for every time a rule changed because of the result of a Bills play with the Chiefs in the playoffs, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. I am utterly and completely off of words at this point for the NFL. Why weren't we doing this sooner? I don't get it at all. But it is what it is. We can't really do much about it now. As a kind of a distraught Bills fan still, that game was just atrocious. The Bills did not play well. I will not blame the refs for the reason why we lost the game, and I'm going to continue to say that. But the league has a lot to answer for, because time and time again stuff like this happens, and it's the Buffalo Bills are unfortunately the team that is at the losing end of that battle, and it's annoying. As a fan, it's really frustrating, especially to see a team now go 3 years in a row to the Super Bowl, and in my opinion is going to win. It's just annoying. So other fun news is over the week, Travis Kelce was fined for a play in the Bills game. Travis Kelce was taunting one of our players, which led to Phillips, one of our defenders, kind of like getting in like a little bit of a tussle. It was a very light tussle, in my opinion. In the game, we were the ones penalized with a 15-yard penalty for that on our offense. So we got hit with a 15-yard penalty on our offense for that. Yet Travis Kelce afterwards was fined for taunting, but he never got a flag in the game. It's just stuff like that's what's frustrating. This is a stat that I found while kind of doing some research for this episode. 73.8% of NFL fans now believe that the league is rigged. I'm going to say this real quick as a disclaimer. I am not going to make a opinion on whether or not the NFL is rigged, because I don't believe in the tinfoil hat conspiracy theories that the NFL is rigged. But there's a lot of things that are kind of questionable that, again, the league still needs to answer for. Another fun thing, hashtag boycott the Super Bowl is now trending and has been trending ever since the end of the Bills-Chiefs game. Great. We're now a week and a half after that game. The number one hashtag still trending on Instagram, X, and Facebook is hashtag boycott the Super Bowl. This is my opinion on it. we all know you're going to watch the Super Bowl. Stop saying you're going to boycott it. We all know you're going to watch the Super Bowl. If you really want to lessen the viewers for the NFL, go to the party. Don't stay home, be distraught, be upset because your team isn't in it. Go to the party. Because when there's hundreds of thousands of parties where there's 30 people at each party all watching one screen, there's not going to be as many viewers of the game as if you were all individually weeping at home and watching the game on your phones or on your TV, because then there's going to be a lot more viewers then. So again, stop lying to yourself that you're going to boycott the Super Bowl, because we all know you're going to peek in at the game. So if you're going to peek in at the game, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl, because we all know you will, do it at a party. Go out, go meet people, go mingle. At least enjoy the night, and don't just sit at home, wallow, and give more viewership to the league. Because if you truly believe in boycotting the Super Bowl, then you would go to the party. You wouldn't stay home and still watch it. That's my opinion on this. Again, as we're wrapping up this episode, if anybody has any comments or wants to share anything or wants to say anything, I will show it up here on the screen. I will talk about it, even debate it, whatever it might be. Please don't hesitate to please comment. Wherever you are, X or YouTube, you can comment where you are, and I can show it on the screen, and I can, interact it. Please be kind. Please be respectful if you do that. Keon Coleman, rookie wide receiver this year. We gave up Xavier Worthy for him in the draft. He averaged 19 yards a carry this season. I'm excited to see what he does. He was injured for multiple games this season. He made a great effort for the ball in every play that he was a part of. Getting 19 yards per carry, that's great. That's almost 2 downs. So I'm excited to see what he does next season, and hopefully, there's no injuries next season. A little bit more to go before we're done. Just kind of going into this next week. The NFL Pro Bowl was this past weekend. Connor McGovern, our center, Deion Dawkins, and James Cook were all there. You might think to yourself, I thought Buffalo only had one Pro Bowler. They did. McGovern and Cook were added in because Creed Humphrey from the Chiefs and Derrick Henry from the Ravens, they both didn't go. So James Cook took Derrick Henry's place, and Connor McGovern took Humphrey's place. Obviously, Creed Humphrey didn't go because he's in New Orleans. I had no idea why Derrick Henry didn't go. I guess it's probably above him to probably go to that. But that's besides the point. This Thursday is going to be the NFL Honors. So in 2 days, the NFL Honors is like the award ceremony. This is where like the MVP award will be shown, the comeback player of the year, and assistant coach of the year award, coach of the year award. So all these. The Buffalo Bills have 3. We're in 3 categories. So Josh Allen is leading currently with odds for the MVP award. I have no idea. Please, nobody I have no idea how that's going to go. So again, Josh Allen is currently leading for the MVP award. I have no idea if he's going to get it or not. He is fighting against Lamar Jackson and Saquon Barkley, who arguably all have had really decent seasons. They've gone above and beyond for their teams. They're all MVPs for their teams. So again, it is usually a quarterback trophy. If it wasn't such a quarterback trophy, you could really make the argument that Saquon Barkley would win it. Saquon Barkley has done amazing things for the Eagles. I would argue that Saquon Barkley pretty much is the reason why the Eagles are still in the playoffs. He has just been doing amazing things. Got to give it to the blockers on the Eagles too. People praise Barkley. You don't praise the blockers though on the Eagles. They are doing some amazing things. The Eagles have an amazing blocking team, which is the reason why Saquon has so many open routes and open looks, and he's fast, he's good, not taking anything away from Saquon Barkley, but those blockers have a lot to do with it on the Philadelphia Eagles. Lamar Jackson, he's doing great things. I don't want to take anything away from Lamar Jackson. He's a great quarterback. There's a lot of love and respect. I will, if he wins that, it's one of those awards where no matter who out of these 3 win it, I won't be upset. I am more worried about a Lombardi than I am about MVP. If you're a Bills fan right now and you cry about Josh Allen not getting MVP, you need to realign your morals a little bit, because you should be way more focused on the team winning the Lombardi. The other 2 categories, DeMar Hamlin is in it for the comeback player of the year. He had a decent season. Again, I don't think he did that well. At the grand scheme, he had a really good start of the season. He kind of actually declined. Joe Burrow has the leading odds. And Joe Burrow actually did the opposite. Joe Burrow, inclined. So I think Joe Burrow is going to win that award. Again, have no idea. And then Joe Brady is up for the assistant coach of the year. Again, Joe Brady, I think, is leading that as well. Last that I checked for the odds, but that is in anybody's game. So again, there's going to be so much offseason drama for the Bills. As we end the Sabres season very soon, there's probably not going to be playoff chances. There's going to be a lot of drama for the Sabres as well. Hopefully the GM for the Sabres kind of answers the fans' complaints. The fans have been complaining for a while that the GM has done nothing. He really hasn't done anything. I have no idea what he's been doing. So I'm hoping that there's going to be some fire underneath his butt this offseason to pick up some players, drop some players, move some cap space. I don't care if you got to spend a lot of money. At this point, the Sabres need somebody else. The Bandits are, on their undefeated season still. Again, even next episode, next Tuesday, they will not have played a game yet. So next episode, don't expect much for the Bandits segment because, they haven't played. University of Buffalo women's basketball team is killing it. They need to continue their streak if they want to be first seed in our conference. I think they can do it, but they need to beat Ball State and they need to continue to win. And we need an upset so bad from Ball State. Don't think it's impossible, but I think it's going to be challenging. Lastly, Bison are starting soon. Very exciting. So again, there's a lot to be hopeful for as a Buffalo sports fanatic. I'm very grateful for everybody that's tuned in tonight. Very grateful that you guys, took your time on your Tuesday night to kind of watch, my dissectment of, the different Buffalo sports teams. Again, I'm very active on all of my social media accounts. I'm posting reels. I'm posting reels daily on Instagram. I'm posting shorts daily on YouTube. I'm posting, on X. Constantly I'm posting on X. I post probably the most on X. And then, TikTok, once I get it back up and running, I can finally start, posting on there as well. But again, very grateful for all of you. Very grateful for the channel. There's a lot of life. This show actually has some growth in the last week. Again, very exciting for where the show is going to go. And I'm hoping as we continue to go into next season for the Bills, especially, this show will really take off. Again, if you know anybody that wants to watch the show, please share it. It means a lot to me, and this show is only as good as the fans are. This show is just as much for you guys as it is for me. I take a lot of honor in being able to kind of give you guys like the scoop of what's going on. And I try to stay as active as I can online to know what's going on. With that being said, I'm very grateful. I hope you all have a great night. And I very much hope that this women's basketball team can continue their streak. Good night.